Hello YouTube, Joey here from TeamBurningInfinitey, bringing you another deck profile. This is another deck profile that's been brought upon to you guys by popular demand and a due update. So, the last time I did this deck was before it sold on me. I was showing you the item-based version I made, and now I've gone back to defensive once again because that's the variant I like, and also it's the variant that gains a lot of useful support from a Soul of Omni. Now, I know there was no direct support to the world, but the new Omni Lords release, generic cards, etc. really help it out, and I changed the deck up a bit to deal with the meta. So, let's jump straight to this and let you guys see what I'm playing. So, our flag is Star Dragon because that's what we're fighting for, and our buddy is Star Guardian Jackknife. Jackknife is still our buddy because 5,000 power, 3 critical, 6,000 defense, with good ability, and the ability to add any dragon arms from the drop zone to his soul when he's called, basically, or any monster into his soul when he's called from the drop zone, and then Soul Guard is really useful in this deck. So, first off, we're starting with size zeros. I play one copy of 7th Omni Earth Lord Count Dawn. Dawn is a 4/1/1, 4,000 power, 1 critical, 1,000 defense. Omni Lord so can be used in a world as one of, and then he has the ability of, at the beginning of your turn, you may pay 1 life, and if you do, call this card from the drop zone. So basically a revivable 0 that's in any world is really useful, especially since this deck's zeros don't really have hitting power other than Akishin, and Akishin is a left-only card, and I'm not going to call a position-only card in a deck that I don't know what I'm doing when, and I'm not really going to try and keep a space open for a 0. Then, next, we've got 2 copies of Dragon Arms Artilleger. Artilleger is a 2/1/2 size 0, 2,000 power, 1 critical, 2,000 defense. For all of you who don't know what 2/1/2 is, I'm just going to start saying the full stats. He has Crossing Eyes. Crossing Eyes is an ability accessible to every Dragon Arms. It allows you to put into the Soul of Neo Dragon if both cards are on the field, and he has the ability. And his effect when he's in the Soul of Neo Dragon is if this card is in the Soul of Neo Dragon during a battle between it and another monster that is originally size 2 or less, nullify the abilities of said monster. So let's say it's in Jack and I'm battling. I go to attack a drum. The drum Soul Guard would not resolve, and henceforth it would instantly die. This also stops penetrate, counterattack, special strike, stuff like that, and it also stops lifelink, unfortunately. But it's really useful, especially with Miseria being a card. This thing, attack, Miseria is dead. Simple as that. Because double Soul Guard is a pain in the ass to deal with, and also this can go into your size 3s, and that's a really useful thing. So that's it for the zeros. Going into the size 1s, we played 2 copies of Dragon Arms Cavalier. 4,000 power, 2 critical, 1,000 defense, and when he's in the Soul of Neo Dragon, that Neo Dragon gains Penetrate. Now, Penetrate, we all know what happens. If you kill a monster in center, deal damage to the opponent equal to the monster's critical. Really nice, because giving monsters like Jack Penetrate, or any monster that's in the Soul of Penetrate, helps a lot. Usually it's going to be Jack. Really nice, though. Then we've got 2 copies of Dragon Arms Winchisker. Dragon Arms Winchisker has 3,000 power, 2 critical, 1,000 defense, and if he's in the Soul of Neo Dragon, that Neo Dragon deal damage to the opponent. You can destroy an item on their field. Really nice ability. Destroying items, great news for everyone. Next, we play 3 copies of Dragon Arms Divisigator. Divisigator has 3,000 power, 1 critical, 5,000 defense. He has the ability, if he's in the Soul of Neo Dragon, that Neo Dragon gain 2,000 defense. This is probably by far the best Dragon Arms in the deck right now, because just adding defense adds so much pressure to the opponent. It seems small adding 2,000 defense, but when you add 2,000 defense to a 6,000 wall, it becomes an 8k wall, and an 8k wall is a really big thing. And if you have multiple of them in Jack, that means he goes up to 12,000. It ranges from 6 to 12,000, 6 being none, 12,000 being all 3 of them in the soul, and 12,000 wall is nothing to laugh at. So, very important. Also, it's not the worst stats. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's not the worst stats. Then we play 4 copies of Rainbow Vision Shadow Scare. Rainbow Vision Shadow Scare is a huge part of the defensive deck and offensive deck. Right now, Star Dragon World doesn't have many good powerhouses, and Shadow Scare is one of them, being 6,000 power, 2 critical, and 1,000 defense. So, just being able to hit things is really useful. You don't want to be walled by 6,000 walls. It's really sad when you have a Jack and you just can't hit something. So, and you're not going to waste your Speculate Rings 90% of the time, because that's just really minus. So, gotta play Shadow Scare. And he's basically our 1000 rapier of the deck, because 6 with an additional 1000 power. It's really nice. So that's it for the 1s and 0s. For the size 2s, 1 Dragon Arms Elgrican. The only reason this is here is it's a placeholder from his area. Elgrican's still not a bad card. It's got 4000 power, 2 critical, 5000 defense, and if it's in the soul of Neo Dragon, that Neo Dragon would gain plus 2000 power and 1 critical. Just being able to add power helps a lot. 7000 is a big deal instead of 5, because being able to hit 6 and 7 balls is pretty huge. I would not keep this if I had his area, but I don't as of right now, so Elgrican's in place because it's still useful. 2 copies of Dragon Blaze Maxwell. Maxwell's pretty useful. I'm trying this card out again. I still have a lot of testing to do, but it hasn't done bad so far. 6000 power, 3 critical, 4000 defense, 2 gauge call cost, which kind of hurts a bit, but when he enters the field, he has a rising flare effect of destroying a size 2 or less monster. His great stats make up for it, and he also has the Soul Guard ability. And usually, you could throw any of these guys into all these Dragon Arms, which are 9 of them, into Maxwell, and very easily get Soul Guard or beneficial abilities, or both. So, very nice. Love the card. And then we play forward with Buddy, which I've already got over. 5000 power, 3000 or 3 critical, 6000 defense, 1 gauge call cost. When he enters the field, put a monster from the drop zone into his soul, and he has Soul Guard. So basically, you get a 5/3/6 Soul Guard as soon as you call him. It's my buddy, so when I call him for the first time, my buddy call, gain a life, and also you gain things like penetrate or critical. You can get any of the effects on the Dragon Arms, and it's really useful. So, gotta play Jack. Jack's definitely a big part of the deck right now. So going on to the size 3s, 1 copy of 2nd Omni Demon Lord Asmodai. Asmodai is a huge Omni Lord that is extremely important to a lot of defensive decks right now, and he's definitely one of the better cards in the new set for this deck, and here's why. He has 50,000 power, so he can beat over any wall, 3 critical, 10,000 defense, so he's a giant wall himself. He has the abilities of penetrate, counterattack, and he has a lifelink too, but he also has the ability, if he would be removed from the field by any means necessary, you can pay a gauge and discard 2 cards and he would remain on the field, and that comboed with a natural counterattack is really useful. Just being able to stop things like that helps a lot, and it's not a counter ability, so you don't lose counter timings, which is beautiful, so you can chain it multiple times if need be on things like heavy impact or whatever, and really big. Counterattack, just kill things. Penetrate, you're always penetrating for 3 unless they stop that attack, and lifelink 2 kind of hurts if he leaves the field, take damage, but you know what, gotta live with it. And then we play 3 copies of Cosmic Storm, Grease, and ZK. I've been doing this for God knows how long now. I've probably been doing this since my first real competitive variant of the deck, and it's just been great, and he's still an amazing card, and he's going to be an amazing card for a very long time. He has 9,000 power, 2 critical, 7,000 defense, a 3 gauge call cost, and you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put 1 into a soul, the other 2 would go into the drop zone. That is his call cost. He has double attack and Soul Guard, so you get the ability to look at the top 3 cards of your deck for Dragon Arms. If there's 1 in there, you try and pluck it in there. If not, you drop them, you just put something random in for Soul Guard, and if there's multiple, you contemplate what's best for the situation and the following turns, because you want the most out of your Dragon Arms. But aside from that, he has 9,000 power, and that's so useful in this deck, because when you're playing defensive, you don't have too many hitters. Even in the offensive variant, I remember when I was first building the deck, I realized 7k walls were a huge trouble for this deck, unless I had Elgrican and Jack, and I was like, no, we can't have this. And that's where Greasing kind of came along as the just backup main card. Like, if Jack's the main monster, this is the backup for it. Just beautifully designed, great stats for the deck, and he helps a lot. It's going to stay in here for a long time. There aren't many other 3s in the deck that I would use in the main deck. Full Burst I have tried, but in this meta, it's meh. It's more of a sideboard card to me. There are a few matchups I would side it in, but I don't want it in every matchup because of its mediocre stats, and that's why I don't play it. But Greason's just stats are super solid for the deck. Going into the spells, we have 2 Planet Memories, Planet Memory is your Dragonic Grimoire clone, so it's pretty standard that I would run it in most decks. Grimoire is an extremely powerful card. If you have 5 or less life, you discard your entire hand, draw 3 cards. Reason we run it here is because you do lose life sometimes due to Penetrate, Spectral Strike, anything like that. Lifelink, just things in general. It's part of the game, losing life, and you got to be able to come back once you use your resources, and that's why this card exists. So yeah, we play 3 copies of Sun Wormhole. Another thing I've been doing for a long time, and I don't think I'm going to be changing for quite a while because it's such a powerful card, and that it has a cast cost of 1 gauge, and it has 2 effects. The first effect is a non-counter effect, which is call any monster from your drop zone that is size 2 or less by paying its call cost, so I get Jax back and whatnot, and it's really great. And then the other effect is counter, call size 1 or less monster from your hand by paying its call cost. I rarely use the counter effect. I usually use it to escape a massive amount of penetrate damage if I have like a Jack with no soul or Greaser with no soul, or something that's small in the center, like maybe you want Dragon Arms or Count On for whatever reason. But usually I use the counter effect to end games or protect myself if I know I can win, or I need the protection from like a 7 crit cradle with Penetrator or some whatever nonsense is going on. But really powerful cards. Being able to get things back from the drop zone is a huge thing, especially in a defensive deck where you want to get cards like this out super consistently. Sun Wormhole makes up for it when it's in your drop zone but not your hand, and it allows your monsters in your drop zone to be a second hand of sorts. Then for the 4 of spells, we have a lot of them. So we're running 4 bear called Barretts. This is a really important card in the defensive variant. It's your 1 gauge hidden crossbow. I know it takes a gauge, but it's still a hidden crossbow, and it's an extremely powerful card that can kill a lot of things. And that is the reason we run 4. If it's not needing the matchup, you side him out. That's kind of how it works. I would play 3 in the offensive and even certain defensive variants, but I do want it in here, especially since I would be playing Miseria in most cases. So very important. Then 4 Fortune Shields. This is a defensive variant, and when I was only running Speculate Ring, it just wasn't enough. You needed more things to protect your monsters, and this is where this card comes in. You run Divisigator. Usually this makes up for the plus 2,000 only defense, but you also gain counterattacks, so being able to kill things is really useful. And then just on top of it, plus 2,000 defense, make Jack 8, 10, 12, 14, whatever it may be, or Grayson 9 or 11, or Maxwell 6, 8, 10, 12, like, just huge things. Big walls are great, and they gain counterattack, and that hurts a lot of people. That's why I run that. When 4 Speculate Rings, it's the Drago Energy. This is definitely the MVP spell of the deck as of right now, so yeah, gotta keep it. Just better Fortune Shield for the deck. Fortune Shield's almost like substitute mini Drago Energy. That's really the way I should have said it, but it doesn't make much of a difference. 4 Proto Barriers, because increased gauge and nullify attacks. They only work when you're being attacked directly, but it works with a closed center, so it's fine. And just being able to protect yourself is really important. And then same thing with Earth Barriers, same requirements, conditions, but instead of gaining a gauge, you gain a life. So just nullifiers in general that are really useful are here, and that's why we play them. That's it for the main deck. That's a 50 card main deck. 25 spells, 25 monsters. And then for the sideboard, we side 1 more Artillery for matchups that need it. Demon Lords, Drums, Mirror Match, things like that. Because it does help, and it's an extra 0, so whatever. Maybe even Dungeon at times. 3 Jackknife Full Burst. Pay 2 gauge, put 1 card in your drop zone to a soul, so you have to have a card before you call it in the drop zone. And it has 3 effects: Penetrate, Soul Guard, and a counteract ability of pay 1 life, and if you do, destroy a monster with 4,000 or less power on your opponent's side of the field. Really nice effect. The ability can only be used once per turn, so it's like a Dragon Breath for a life, but you know what, it's still really good. And the stats aren't terrible, but I'm not a big fan of 7-2-6, 7-3-6, 7-2-7, something like that would have made me really happy with it. And honestly, I've never felt a time I've truly needed to main deck this card because there's only so many matchups to use it in anyway to make it shine. Other than that, it's just a standard 3, and I don't want to use Gauge on cards that are going to be Maz and washes half the time. That's my personal feeling on the card, but others may argue. And some people may use it for like local meta reasons, and I'm completely fine with that. Continuing on with the sideboard, we play 3 barbed wires. If I actually had these in the main deck for quite a bit. The only reason it's in the size because I don't have room for them in the main, or else they would be mained. Counter, tap a target, tap an item on your opponent's side of the field. For all of you who don't know what tap is, it's basically rest. I just like saying tap, it's easier for me. I'm used to Kai Judo and Magic and stuff, so yeah. But just being able to rest weapons and tap them is just really powerful. Stopping a lot of things, hurts a lot of people, and it just completely wrecks Hero World. It's free to buy. Hero World, Dungeon World, stuff like that, Dragon World. And then we play 3 copies of Shining Rain, suit a spell null, pay gauge and life, counter, nullify a spell cast by your opponent, may only be used on your opponent's turn. So, really nice. Stops pushes. I'd probably side this in things like Magic World, Ein, what was the other one? Ancient World, things like that. Because you want, like, Ancient World 9, you just stop to draw spells like Cost Life, or really powerful things like Dragon Number, Legend of Times, in a top deck situation, or whatever it may be at the time. And Magic World, bunch of things. Devil Fever, Grand Pappy Clock, nice ones, just whatever you need to stop at the time. So, that's it for the deck. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry I don't have a Miseria for you guys. All the Miserias went to Jalen because, you know, he's building Demon Lords, and I'm not going to take anything away from his deck. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more Buddyfight content. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, thoughts, etc., leave them down in the comment section down below. Those are always nice to see. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys see an ad you like, click it. If you don't, leave it alone, because bad ads, no one wants to be near. Thank you for watching. Joey from TeamBurningInfinitey, signing out.